So the Flyers went out and grabbed Trevor Zegras from Anaheim. And after thinking about it, I really like this move for Philly. It's one of these trades that doesn't seem significant right now, but could be in the future because there's a ton of upside and not a whole lot of risk for Philadelphia. I like what Danny Briere did here. He's taken a shot on undervalued talent, and he paid next to nothing for it. He sends a bottom six guy in Ryan Poehling over to Anaheim. Good penalty killer, good player, something that Anaheim needed, so it checks a box for them, plus a couple of picks. You get a second-round pick in this year's draft and a fourth-rounder in 2026. And in return, you get a 24-year-old Zegras who hasn't hit his prime yet, and by all accounts still hasn't hit his ceiling, wants to play center, which is a need for the Philadelphia Flyers. That may not work out. We'll get to that. And Rick Tocchet, the coach for the Flyers, made some comments and talked to Zegras, and I thought they were very interesting. And you get a guy, like I said, who's super talented. He's had back-to-back 60-point seasons, 23 goals in each of those seasons. And yes, you know, the past couple of years haven't been great. Down year last year. He missed 7 weeks after knee surgery, missed a couple games. I think he had a 3-game suspension for a bad hit. But this is a player that is coming into your team at under $6 million on the last year of his deal, and he's becoming a restricted free agent. So you have his rights. It's really just super low risk. And if he hits, this is a home run for the Philadelphia Flyers. And he becomes a part of your core if he hits. And he fills a position of need down the middle if he can play in that position. So I like what Philly did here. Zegras, his issue has never been what he can do with the puck. Offensively, he's super talented, maybe as talented as anyone in the NHL. It's just he does not play a 200-foot game. But it sounds like he wants to start doing that, and he's already had that discussion with Rick Tocchet. So Tocchet talked about the trade, and he talked about Zegras, saying, I definitely think it's our obligation to see if he can play center. He really wants to give it a shot. And I guess they had a conversation, and Tocchet said he shared a couple of things with me that he was pretty honest about, where he had struggles in boxing out guys down low and things that he wanted to work on. I thought that was really mature of him. So there's some things that I can really help him with in being a center. We'll see how it goes. I love that from Zegras. The guy comes into the organization and immediately seeks out the coach and says, dude, I want to play center. Here are my weaknesses. You can help me be better. I think that's all you really want as a coach, right? And for Philly, like I said, it's low risk, high upside. If he doesn't pan out, so be it. You still have his rights and maybe you flip him. Or I thought about this too. What if Zegras actually hits and he turns out to be a really good player, which he can be, which we know that he can be, but he improves his defensive game as well. But we get to the trade deadline, and obviously Philly's not going to be in the mix of the playoffs. Like, I just don't know who falls out of the East for them to get in, right? The Metro is pretty much locked up. You got Carolina, you got Jersey, and you got Washington. Then your wild cards last season, Ottawa and the Sens, they're not going to leapfrog the Rangers. They're not going to leapfrog the Columbus Blue Jackets. Like, it's going to be another season, another rebuilding season for the Philadelphia Flyers. So let's say we get to the trade deadline. This is just something I thought. He's playing well. If you're Danny Briere, do you consider flipping him at the deadline for picks as a rental? You're trading a player who's just 24 years old in the final season of his contract at a manageable cap hit, and he's becoming a restricted free agent. That can fetch you, at the deadline, that'll fetch you a first-round pick. At a minimum, that'll fetch you a first-round pick. We've seen players in the bottom 6 go for first-rounders. And if the Philadelphia Flyers aren't ready to make that leap to the playoffs, which I don't think that they are, then why not stockpile picks and then use it in the future? Just something I thought of. I don't think that's going to happen. We have to wait and see how this whole Zegras situation plays out for Philadelphia. But it's a great move for Philly. And this is a guy who, when he first came into the league, had so much hype. He basically did a Michigan and got on the front cover of EA Sports NHL, whatever year that was, 23, I think, 22, 23, whatever. And then, right, his stock plummeted. His value clearly wasn't high. Pat Verbeek, the GM for the Ducks, just was done with it, wanted to get rid of him. I wonder if Joel Quenneville, who moved in there as a new head coach for the Ducks, was thinking, I don't want this guy on my team. I'm just curious. Anaheim's ready to take that leap to the playoffs. They probably didn't feel that Zegras could help them get there, and his value was close to an all-time low. And Verbeek and the Ducks weren't ready to keep him any longer and see his value diminish. So anyway, he's gone from the Ducks. He's going to Philly. This is a great move for a team that's rebuilding / retooling. You take a gamble on a player for cheap with an incredible amount of upside. Love this for Philly. I hope it works out for him. Okay, hit me up in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Is Zergas going to hit for Philly? Or is it going to be the same old we've been seeing from Trevor Zergas for the past couple of seasons? I think he hits. You let me know.